Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self and ultimately create the life that you desire? As always, I have pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which I'll jump into in just a second, but I do have the tarot deck that I'll be using already shuffled, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember, these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Gemini, in your recent past, you have reflect on your priorities with the Seven of Pentacles. Your recent past, it feels like, I don't necessarily know if you were doing a lot of reevaluating or if the universe puts you into situations that force you to reevaluate what it is that you have been investing in. You know, if you look at your life and your life is not what you want it to be in terms of finances or career path or relationships, you know, kind of looking at, okay, am I investing in situations that align with the life that I desire, or am I investing in situations that align with the life that I thought I was supposed to have, or that I thought I wanted, or that everyone else wanted me to have, or whatever the case is. So your recent past was a lot about reflecting on what you were investing in, what you were giving your time and energy to. And then in your current energy, you have release your blocks with the death in reverse. So your current energy is about now working through all of the reasons that you are not living the life that you desire. Sometimes when we go through life kind of always seemingly experiencing loss or never really getting what it is that we desire, we can often think that the abundance that we want just isn't for us, that other people deserve abundance and are capable of abundance, but that it's just not meant for us. Maybe that is in terms of love or in terms of, like I said, finances or success. And we can start to believe that all of the obstacles that are in our path to getting the life that we desire are just never going to be able to, because of those obstacles, we're never going to be able to get to where we're trying to go. Because right now, I feel like you're resisting certain changes that need to happen in your life, almost like inevitable changes in some way, shape, or form. Now, that doesn't mean that they're inevitable in the sense that it's going to happen in a bad way or anything like that. So don't let that scare you. But I do feel like there are certain changes that you know you need to make on some level. I don't know if this is a conscious level, because I do know that a lot of the times when I'm doing these readings, I can kind of tap into that subconscious energy. But um, there's these changes that it's almost like you have this feeling. Maybe it's just like this overall general feeling of like, I'm not happy with the path that I'm on, or I'm not happy with where I'm at, or whatever the case is. And there's changes that you need to make. But I also feel like when you think about those changes, the first thing that comes to mind is all of the reasons why you can't make them. All of the reasons, all of the blockages, if you will, as to why you wouldn't be able to make the changes that you're ultimately wanting. Now, in your immediate future, you have believe in your good luck with the Hierophant in reverse. I'm interested to see how this future energy ties into this reading, because the overall energy is the reminder that your perception is everything. I saw this this quote, or I don't necessarily know if it was a quote, but I saw something on Facebook that the other day that really was um, kind of eye-opening for me in a way. Like, it's like I knew this, but just kind of hearing it in that way kind of changed things for me. And it was the fact that if you always see things through the lens of believing that it is possible, then you will see opportunities. But if you always see things through the lens of believing that it is not possible, then you will always see obstacles. Your perception in terms of what you think that you are capable of, what's possible for you, what's possible in general, your perception of that is always going to limit the experience that you are capable of creating. And if you have an experience that is based solely on, obstacles that, like, thinking in the form of obstacles. Well, here are all the reasons why it's not possible, and this isn't possible, this isn't going to happen, here's the problem with that. Then you're always going to see things in that lens and most likely never get to where you're trying to go. But if you believe that it's possible for you and that you're going to be supported on that path, then you're going to start to watch. It's almost like your luck changes. That was one thing I really noticed for me on my spiritual journey was when I first kind of started my spiritual journey, I truly believed that nothing would ever work out for me. Like, I always believed I would never find a good parking spot. I would never be someone that would ever get to live an abundant life. Like, it was like everything. I always felt like success and abundance was for other people and not necessarily for myself. And when I started changing my thinking, I literally started watching my luck change. Like, even just little things, like I said, about like finding a good parking spot or solutions being easy to certain problems that I have. And that was never how I was before. Things were always very difficult for me before, and it was because I believed that was going to be the case. So whether you're applying this to small things or big things, the truth remains. But let's start, Gemini, by looking at your recent past, clarifying, reflect on your priorities with the Seven of Pentacles. Recent past for Gemini, clarifying, reflect on your priorities with the Seven of Pentacles, please. This is for Gemini's recent past. Knight of Cups in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Wands with the Four of Cups. Oh, and the Eight of Swords. All right, Gemini, we've got some tough truths right off the bat. Your perception, because the Four of Cups, this is not focusing on like, this is not focusing on the right thing. Like, having your perspective being focused on something that isn't necessarily what's meant for you. Like, if you look at this card, it's almost like the universe is like, here, focus on this, but you're focused on all of these cups down here. Now, what that is ultimately what you're focusing on is the Five of Wands and the Eight of Swords. This is limiting beliefs, and this is resistance or obstacles, if you will. Your perspective is always on all of the reasons why you can't be happy, you can't be successful, you can't find love, you can't have the life that you desire. And what that does is that keeps you investing in things that align with the belief that you can't have what it is that you desire. So you might as well settle for, whatever it is that, you've been investing in. And what you've been investing in has been a lot of situations where you've been selling yourself short in regard to what you are actually capable of and what is actually possible for you. And I feel like you know that on some level, Gemini. I feel like you like, especially if you're guided to this reading, like, you feel like you know that there are certain aspects of your life that it's like you feel like you want more because you know that you are capable and deserving of more. Now, you might not think it's possible or whatever the case is, but that's kind of what this whole reading is about, right? So I feel like you see things and have a tendency to see things through the lens of obstacles, through the lens of resistance. Here are all the reasons why the life of my dreams isn't possible and why I should settle for the life that I have been investing in so far. Reset past for Gemini. And that can be anything, financial situation, like I said, career path, level of success, whatever that looks like to you. All right, reset past for Gemini, clarifying, reflect on your priorities with the Seven of Pentacles. Reset past for Gemini, please. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Reflect on your priorities because your priorities are not in balance. Literally, unbalanced priorities, and then the Emperor in reverse. This is about trying to force and control certain aspects of your reality that have proven to you time and time again that they are just not working out and they are just not meant for you. Now, sometimes we try to force things to work out because we think that if they don't work out the way that we want them to, that they're never going to work out at all. And I get that thinking. I've been there. I super have been there. But we have to remember that when we try to force our own path, or let me rephrase that. When we try to force a certain outcome, we often then close ourselves off to the path that the universe has in store for us that is actually going to get us to where we're trying to go in the first place. So for instance, you're looking for financial abundance, right? You want to be financially stable in all areas of your life. And you're pursuing a job that you absolutely hate for that financial abundance. And you think that this job, this path is the only way that you're going to be able to have the financial abundance that you desire or need even. When in reality, there's a path out there that is both, can help you pursue passion, and that can be exciting, and that can be more in alignment with the life that you desire in terms of your day-to-day, but also provide you with the financial abundance that you're looking for. And sometimes we're not able to see that because we haven't experienced it before. And if we limit our expectations to what we've experienced, we're always going to experience what we've always experienced. When you can start to open your perspective and open your mind up to other paths and other ways of doing things and how powerful, Gemini, you really are, especially how powerful your thoughts and your beliefs are, you start to realize, that's when you'll start to realize that there's so much more that you are capable of than what you've been selling yourself short for. Because I do feel like you have been. I feel like you have been settling in a lot of areas of your life for a long time. Recent past for Gemini. Huh. Lots of disappointment in your recent past. Lots of disappointment. It's almost like, and maybe that's what happened, is maybe these paths in the beginning, maybe it doesn't feel like you're settling. Maybe you really think that, these things are meant for you, but then they always end up disappointing you. Or you're, whatever path you did start to pursue or you were investing your time and energy into, maybe you really thought it was meant for you. Maybe you really thought that that was your path, but then it led to disappointment. I've been there too. But that doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that things didn't work out. It doesn't mean that there is anything to be disappointed about. Now, I don't want to downplay anyone's feelings or say that you shouldn't feel the way that you do, because that's absolutely not true. You should absolutely feel whatever it is that you feel. But you don't have to look at how you feel as truth. If you're disappointed with how things worked out, then go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, why did this why did this happen? What part of my belief system attracted this situation? What part of me was settling? What part of me was sacrificing my worth? What part of me wasn't aligned with what it is that I truly desire? Sometimes the disappointing situations and when things don't work out, they're actually there to help us get closer to the desires that we truly are looking for, which is why it's like you have the Five of Cups and then you have the Magician. Disappointment can lead to manifestation. Sometimes when something doesn't work out, it's merely just redirection. Sometimes when someone doesn't, when you feel rejected by someone, it's the universe's way of protecting you from what isn't meant for you. The more that we can shift our perspective from a place of, almost like life is a punishment, instead of looking at it like that way, looking at it as life is a classroom. I said that in a reading yesterday. I really liked that. Because it's true. Like, don't look at this as if it's happening to you. Try to look at how this might be happening for you, even if you can't see it yet. Current energy for Gemini, clarifying, release your blocks with the Death in reverse. One more. Current energy for Gemini, please. Certain changes that are needing to be made. Current energy for Gemini. Ooh, I like the way that came out. Here you are, Gemini. The Emperor. Whether you are male or female, does not matter. But this is you trying to and needing to take charge of your life. So here's what's interesting is it's almost like you have both of these energies. It's like you're trying to take charge of your life, but you're fighting against a lot of limiting beliefs in addition to that. Now, this Eight of Swords in reverse, you have it upright, but the Eight of Swords in reverse is my favorite card in tarot. because it talks about releasing yourself from the limiting beliefs that keep you trapped and experiencing the same cycles and same situations and same outcomes. Something I talk about a lot on my channel is how 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious patterns. And only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is actually a conscious choice in that moment. And sometimes we don't realize that no matter how much we want to, on a conscious level, take charge of our life and create the life of our dreams, how there's all of these limiting beliefs that are keeping us from being able to do that. Beliefs such as it's not possible, you're not good enough, you're not capable, it's not meant for you, whatever the case might be. And those limiting beliefs can keep you in believing that you are supposed to stay exactly where you're at and that what you've experienced is as good as it can get for you. When in reality, that's never, ever true. If you are not happy or fulfilled in any area of your life, then you are not living the life that you desire. Therefore, it can always get better. But you have to be the one to create the life that you desire. It's not going to just happen for you. And that's where I feel like a lot of readers on YouTube specifically, what they kind of miss is it's like, oh, this is going to appear tomorrow. And then people get frustrated when it doesn't happen, when they hear, over and over, oh, this person's coming towards you, or, the abundance you're looking for is coming towards you. It's the fact of the matter is, it always is. Your abundance and the life that you desire is always coming towards you. It's always available for you, but it's not going to just appear. You have to be the one to create it. So if it hasn't come, it doesn't mean that it's not going to. It just means that it has not yet. And kind of diving into why it hasn't is what's going to ultimately get you to where you're trying to go. All right, current energy for Gemini, clarifying, release your blocks with the Death in reverse. Current energy for Gemini, clarifying, release your blocks with the Death in reverse. And remember, co-creation is not the same as chasing. So, important to keep that distinction. 2 of Cups in reverse, 9 of Cups in reverse. You're very separated from yourself right now. I almost feel like there's this, this may not be for everyone, but the word that comes to mind is cognitive dissonance. There's almost like this separation from the fact that you aren't living the life that you desire, but you're ignoring that and continuing to just move through. It's like keeping that separate. I know this isn't what I want, but I'm not going to do anything about it, and I'm just going to continue to move forward down this path. I get that. I've been there too. So understand, in my readings, there's absolutely never any judgment. And a lot of what I say in these readings is speaking from a place of I've been there. I get it. But the reason that there is that almost like separation from yourself is because I feel like you have a very negative outlook on your future and what is possible for you. And when we have that negative outlook on our future, typically that means that we've been stuck in survival mode for a really, really long time. We've been through a lot of really challenging, really painful things that have us believing that that's all there is to life. And so when we cling to things that aren't serving us and aren't meant for us, oftentimes we're doing that because that's the only way we know how to stay safe. And when you're looking for safety in a world that has made you feel very unsafe, a lot of times you're going to end up investing in things that aren't really meant for you. And that's why we have to learn to breaking out of survival mode is breaking out of our past. It's breaking out of the experiences that have held us hostage in the life that we've lived for so long. And sometimes that goes all the way back to childhood and what you've experienced there. And so, these things, it goes a lot deeper than just the surface of what's happening, which is why in my readings, I get some people who love my readings, and then I get some people that are like, I don't like your readings. You talk too much about, what's going on below the surface. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of my whole point, is because I want to talk more about how you, Gemini, have control over what is really, truly, meant for you. You have the control to create the reality that you desire. You don't have to just settle for the life that you kind of have been settling for thus far. And so trying to almost get back in touch with yourself. What do you want? What do you desire? If it were impossible to fail, if you knew that anything that you wanted was possible, what would that look like? How would you want to feel? Would you feel loved? Would you feel successful? Would you feel abundant? Would you feel at peace? Would you feel happy? Would you feel attractive? I don't know. Whatever the case is for you, if you knew it was impossible to fail, what would you want your life to look like? because I can tell you right now that the life that you desire, the abundance that you desire, it is absolutely possible. It is almost like guaranteed level possible. The reason it's not guaranteed is it's not guaranteed that you are going to take the steps to get there. There is nothing and nobody that can stand in your way aside from you. And you do not have to wait for anybody else in order to create and have the life that you desire. All right. Current energy for Gemini, please. Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Pentacles. Things are delayed. Why are things delayed? Opportunities are delayed. Why? Opportunities are delayed. Because your blockages are keeping them. Ah, I understand. Sometimes we invest in things while waiting for better opportunities to come around. But what we don't realize is that, sure, sometimes, opportunities just present themselves out of the blue. But if they don't, and they haven't, then you've got to be the one to create them, right? And what you have to remember is we all have, think of your energy, what you can give and receive on an energetic level is like a cup. You have a cup of energy. It's a really big cup, but it's the cup for the analogy. And there's only so much energy that you can give. You only have this much energy to give, and you can only receive this much energy. And if you give to things that aren't meant for you, then you're not going to have enough energy to give to things that are meant for you, so you're never going to be able to receive the things that are meant for you. If your energy is being taken up, if your time and your energy is being taken up by opportunities that aren't meant for you anymore, that don't make you happy, that don't serve you, nothing better is ever going to come along. That's not how it works, because no matter what, your energy is always going to be used up by what doesn't serve you. And so learning to open up your energy is learning to walk away and leave behind that which does not serve you. And sometimes that's the scariest thing to do, because that's when we really have to embrace our faith that the universe has our back. Because the Gemini collective that I'm talking about is not in living the life that they are fulfilled in right now. Not saying you're not trying, and I'm not saying that you are completely on the wrong path or anything like that. But there are certain changes that are needing to be made in your life, Gemini, that I feel like you know. I feel like you know what these changes are, and I feel like those changes are the scariest ones. And sometimes the scariest choices that we have to make are the ones that are going to lead us to the best destinations. Immediate future for Gemini, clarifying, believe in your good luck with the Hierophant in reverse. Believe you are supported. That's the way that I feel that. Believe that you are supported, Gemini. Believe you are supported in every step that you take toward the life that you desire. That doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. That doesn't mean you're not going to fall down. It just means that everything that happens is happening to get you to where you're trying to go. Immediate future for Gemini. Okay. I had to give this message in the last reading I did too, and it just feels like it's really hard for me to verbalize this. It's not the same message, but similar. King of Pentacles in reverse with a Strength in reverse, right? I just kind of want to focus on this King of Pentacles in reverse. The King of Pentacles in reverse can be the tendency to focus too much on the material world, too much on the circumstances, too much on what is right in front of you. And when we focus too much on how things look, and we base the future and what's possible in our future based on, what things currently look like, then we probably aren't looking at the bigger picture and the bigger perspective that the universe is asking us to look at. For instance, if you have a relationship that falls apart, sometimes when you're just looking at that relationship, you can say, this is proof that I'm not good enough and that I'm going to be alone forever. When in reality, what actually might be happening is there are lessons that you need to learn through that relationship that are opening up your energy to be able to attract the love that is truly meant for you. Sometimes the things that fall apart are happening so that our life can fall back together in ways that we never even imagined was possible. But if we focus so much on our circumstances, we can get caught in believing that the fear, the doubt, the insecurity that we're experiencing, the disappointment that we're experiencing, that's a truth, and that we're never going to be able to have the life that we truly desire. And with the strength in reverse, if creating the life of your dreams is co-creation process with the universe, and if you think of any kind of partnership, will not work, especially not for the long term, if there is no trust. If you do not trust the universe and you do not have faith in the universe, you will never ever be able to be in a co-creational relationship with the universe. I'm having trouble with words in this reading for some reason. And so learning that your faith and your perspective that the universe is supporting you is what creates the life that you are looking for. Anyway, and so I feel like there's this need to tap into a deeper spiritual connection of your own understanding, whatever that looks like for you. God, spirit, your higher self, the divine, angels, guides, whatever resonates with you. Tapping into, connecting with, and deepening the connection to a spiritual connection of your own understanding can provide you with a sense of faith and security in your inner world that will then eventually be reflected in your outer world. If you are always looking for your outer world to verify that you are going to be okay, then you will often never be able to create the life that you desire, because you will always be looking outside of yourself for what you need to create within first. And so starting with what's going on within, what are your limiting beliefs? What kind of healing do you need to do? Where do you doubt yourself? Where do you doubt the universe? Where do you doubt the people around you? Where do you lack trust? Where do you lack faith? Where do you fear hurt? Diving into kind of that shadow work and getting to know those aspects of yourself, that is how you start to create the reality outside that you're first creating inside. The saying is, as above so below, as within so without. We create our life within, and that life within then eventually gets reflected out. If you try to create your world on the outside expecting for it to change how you feel within, you will never be satisfied and you will never be fulfilled. You will always find yourself searching for the next thing to bring you a sense of happiness and peace. If you find that happiness and that peace and that faith within, then your outer world will start to reflect that back to you in ways that you never would have been able to experience if you hadn't found that world within first. Hope that makes sense. Immediate future for Gemini, please. I also feel like I'm talking fast in this reading, so I do apologize. I get complaints about that on my channel often too. It's something I always am aware of, but I struggle to fix. All right, immediate future for Gemini. The fear. When in doubt, choose yourself. If you are in any kind of situation that makes you feel unfulfilled or unhappy or unloved or unworthy, then that situation isn't meant for you. It's not meant for you. But sometimes when we experience fear, for instance, I know so many people who have settled for relationships or in the past or in their current energy for people that don't serve them because they fear being alone, and they fear that if this relationship doesn't work out, then they're never going to find the partner that they desire, and so they're willing to settle. They settle for what doesn't serve them because they fear the opposite. Settle for someone that doesn't align with your energy because you fear being alone forever. Settling for a job that you absolutely hate because you fear being homeless. Whatever the case might be. And so there's that need to look at your life from a wider perspective and look at, okay, what have I been investing in my life? And have I been investing in these things because they bring me a sense of abundance and fulfillment? Or have I been investing in these things because I hope that one day, eventually, they make me feel different than I do right now? Because if you're investing in something out of the hopes of what it can be in the future, then you're investing in something that doesn't exist. You're investing in a future that doesn't exist. If you're investing in something because it brings you happiness and joy and fulfillment today, then that's going to create the life that you do desire in the future. Gabrielle Bernstein, she's a spiritual teacher that I look up to quite a bit, and that I base a lot of my teachings off of what I've learned from her. My dog is choking over there. She often talks about the fact that you always know that your manifestations are happening whenever you're having fun. If you're having fun and you don't care when they're going to show up because you're already enjoying your life for what it is, then the future that you're looking for is going to manifest. What is wrong with you, child? We rescued these two dogs, my boyfriend and I, and one of them just randomly forgets how to breathe. Sometimes is just chilling, and then she's just choking. She always figures it out. I panicked the first few times, but Now she's just fine. Anyway, all right, immediate future for Gemini. I digress. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Don't worry, she's okay. I promise. Come here. Come here. You have the Two of Wands with the Sun. The more you listen to guidance, come here. No, they don't listen to me. All right, the more you listen to your guidance and that you open up to the universe's path, the more that you are going to create fulfillment. Something that a lot of people, and I've kind of alluded to this message already, but it's something that I feel like I need to really harp on again, is the trap that a lot of people fall into, and I can say that because I've been there, is that your abundance exists in the future. And that fulfillment is a future-based thing. And when you always look at your fulfillment and your abundance in the future, then you're always going to be in a position where your abundance and your fulfillment exists in the future. If you are not happy with the life that you are currently living today, and you continue to invest in the same things, and you make the same decisions, and you invest in the same people or same types of people, then you will never find yourself in a place of fulfillment and abundance. If you start to then create, if instead you start to create a day-to-day experience where you are investing in more of what makes you feel fulfilled today, whether that's a creative project, or maybe you're an artist, or maybe you like music, or maybe it's spending time with your family, or whatever the case is. If you put more and more of your time and energy into the things that make you feel fulfilled today, that fulfillment will start to expand. If you continue to invest in things that don't make you feel fulfilled today, then you will continue to expand the energy of being unfulfilled. So what you've got to remember, that abundance, it's not something that is in the future. Sure, yes, technically it is, right? Because technically the more that you focus on your fulfillment, the more you attract more of that. And yes, your future can be abundant just as much as your present is abundant. But abundance starts in the present moment. If you are not happy and fulfilled today, then you will not be able to create the life that you dream of tomorrow. And I don't say that to scare anyone. I'm not saying if you're not happy, then sorry. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what you have to focus on is what you can do today to make you feel fulfilled and abundant, so that that abundance and that fulfillment can start to expand. It's almost like a snowball effect. And sometimes that means there's something here, Gemini, that needs to end. I don't know if that's a bad habit. I don't know if that's a relationship. I don't know if that's a job. There is something that needs to end so you can close out some sort of cycle here, so that you can get into alignment with your fulfillment. But understand that if you're spending your time and energy investing in people or situations that don't make you feel abundant today, they're not going to make you feel abundant tomorrow either. It's always going to be how things are. You see it all the time in relationships. People will start to date someone, and that relationship, doesn't really make them happy, but then they think that the engagement will. So then they get engaged, and then that engagement doesn't make them feel happy. So then they get married, and then a marriage doesn't make them feel happy. So they have kids. And by the time that their kids are, 2 or 3 years old, they realize that they're not happy. They've always been trying to look for that next step to make them happy. And again, I don't say any of this to scare anyone or to say that you've done anything wrong, even if you have fallen into the path. What I'm saying is that notice the pattern, notice the behavior, notice how you're always looking to the future, to the next thing to bring you abundance and fulfillment, and notice what you can do. Try to find what you can do today to find that abundance and fulfillment in your current life, so that you can start to watch that kind of expand in your future. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. This was what you need to know right now in order to align with your higher self. Your extended reading is going to be what you need to do right now in order to align with your higher self and create the life of your dreams, the life that you desire. I'm going to dive further into these messages, and clarification, advice, all that fun stuff. I do want to mention that I did launch my website last week, spiritualcoachgabby.com. That link is also in the description box below, but if you have any interest in checking it out, I explain a little bit about my backstory, my intention with tarot, and then obviously all of the information on my personal readings and coaching services are on there as well. So if you have any interest in checking that out, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Hiccups all of a sudden. All right. Thank you, Gemini. Bye.